January 6, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on 2002 chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. Looked like there was a spike in the pre-market, quick sell-off, and right after the open, it rallied on this gradual move up, kind of hit a peak, and then it sold off in this gradual channel, and then bounced and kind of into the close. It's kind of how I drew the charts today. I didn't draw the big channel because it just looked like it fit better here, but you do know at this point it was in a down channel or downtrend. I had some difficulty finding a proper reliable channel here. So it started off with this yellow, then it kind of evolved into this purple, and then it eventually turned into this orange. So it looked like it was kind of a shallow or more aggressive channel. Then it turned into this more shallow move. There was some setups here, but I considered a bunch of them almost trades just because there was one reason or another I did not like them. And then I did try to take a trade here, and unfortunately I missed. There was no economic data that came out today that really moved the market. It was just kind of a full first week of trading, and it was just kind of looked like a big dome. It just rallied up and then came back down. It almost made a measured move from the pre-market low to, well, pre-market here and then right here. So it was actually pretty close to making this measured move, but it fell short. I'm gonna get into the trades right now. It's quite a few setups, but as I said, a lot of them I felt were almost trades. So in the pre-market, there was this push up, sell off, push up again. It looked like it fell into this yellow up channel. You could have drawn it a little bit more tighter here. Didn't really change the fact that there was a break, a test of the high, and then a sell off. So it's either here or as I had it here. I mean, here you really don't get that many more confirmations, just one, two, three, maybe the top side tests it contacts a little bit better. So things start moving. So this purple and this yellow up channel don't exist yet. So I was just kind of playing these really small, shortened tight trend channels, and then later evolved into this yellow one. So as on the open, it broke. There's no real setup that I like here. Second entry long here, it's no good. Pushes up, hits this high, comes back down. It makes a first entry long, pull back, it creates a second entry long right here. This is the same candle. I mean, when you see this in real time, the second entry long hasn't formed yet, but you're thinking this is a really nice candle. Depending on how you drew it, maybe you could have had a touch here. So it was a little ambiguous. So it's a good signal bar, break of the green down channel. So I'm thinking it's going to test the low again. And the two previous bars here, excuse me, two previous bars already broke below the EMA. So I'm not really trusting the second entry long, even though it confirms here and pushes up. I want to wait for a higher low. You technically get a higher low here, but when seeing this in real time, I'm not thinking of taking a trade yet. Then I see this, okay, maybe there's a trade here. I'm just not feeling it. And then it pushes up really strongly here. So this is just kind of a missed opportunity. Well, I can't really say it's a missed opportunity because I didn't really like the trade, so I wasn't ready for it anyways. Prices push up. So here I draw this yellow up channel, kind of contacts nicely here. It kind of sits pretty well up on this top side, pushes up. It creates this second entry long. It's a new high. It's a first entry long pullback. Creates a second entry long triple test. It's two legs down from the top of this yellow up channel. And if you're early enough, well, actually, you wouldn't have had this purple channel in the first place, but it is coming from the top, first entry long, second entry long. I'm a little weary after it hits the high to take a long so soon because I think it's going to come back down and test the low of this yellow up channel, depending on how you drew it. So, and this isn't a very good signal bar, even though it is a potential triple test, 1, 2, 3. The only thing going for it is it's a little bit more manageable in terms of risk because it's only 10 ticks, whereas previously these are kind of large for the day. So I kind of left it alone. Price will then continue moving up. It looks like it's falling into this trading range. So it's one touch, two touch, three touch, multiple tests here. So I'm thinking I'm in a pretty decent range. It's first entry long. Technically, I have a second entry long here, but I can't really trust this as an inside bar. You get a confirmed second entry long at this point, but now it's too close to the highs, so there's no trade there. Pushes up and breaks out of this trading range. So I'm thinking the validity and the need to trust this blue trading range is kind of played out. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm playing inside potentially this yellow up channel. Has nice contact here, good touch here, good touch here. So I'm looking for a potential move back to the top side of this yellow up channel. Purple one doesn't exist yet. So you just need a good setup. Now it breaks out. So I'm thinking this break of this yellow up channel might want to move back in. And it kind of does. So it does new high, first entry long, second entry long. This isn't a very good signal bar. I don't really like it. EMA is starting to show support, pushes up. At this point, I'm playing with the idea that maybe there's this bigger purple channel in play, one touch, two touch, three touch, four touch. And this yellow one, whether it's valid or not, it's still sitting within this purple one, which I'm thinking prices want to move back into the yellow and it's potentially bouncing off the purple. So it's a little confusing. I'm not 100% sure I know what's going on or I'm confident where I think prices are going, except that it's a bullish bias, obviously. So it's a new high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. This is a signal bar for the second entry long is this red candle. So to confirm confirmation with this trigger bar. So I thought when I saw this, I'm thinking there is a potential trade here, but it does, it does have a triple test, one touch, two touch, three touch. It feels a little aggressive. It is bouncing off the bottom of this purple up channel. If I trust this purple up channel, there's a triple test here potentially. Signal bar is okay. I did want it to close a little bit more bullish. I did like that the trigger bar engulfed. If the signal bar had been green and the trigger bar followed up with this engulfing, both green, then I would have trusted it more and probably jumped on the trade. In this case, it didn't, so I needed the trigger bar to be even more bulletproof. So I needed to close at the high for me to even consider it, just being extra picky. So I, just decided to just sit on it and wait. But I also saw this as a new low, first entry short, second entry short. Second entry short technically has failed here, and this could be a higher low of confirming the second entry short. But as I said, you'd have to trust the purple up channel, and I wasn't 100% sure of it yet. Turns out it would have worked, but of course I don't know that at the time. Prices move up. So the purple up channel looks like it's fitting pretty well. But then I also saw this orange shallow channel working. So I'm thinking, okay, well, it's one push up, sell off. At first, I thought there was this yellow up channel. Then it evolved to this purple, which got wider. And I'm not that big fan of this purple one. But then I'm thinking, could it be a kind of a shallow spike and a shallow channel moving up? Because this orange fits pretty nicely. It has good confirmations to the low. Fits better than the purple and the orange, purple and the yellow at this point. But I'm a little confused, or I'm not sure I know what's exactly happening, except for the fact that it's having a big bullish rally. So it's a new high, it's a first entry long pullback. You have a potential second entry long. I saw this as a potential multiple test. It's not the cleanest range, but you do have some kind of resistance being respected here. It's a failed breakout. It's coming back down. Potential multiple test, second entry long, decent signal bar, but I called it an almost trade. The reason being is it's at the bottom of the range, which is good. It made two measured legs down, which I drew. It's a decent signal bar, but there's an overshoot at the top of this range. So I'm thinking it's going to make a matching overshoot here. And if now I'm playing off the orange up channel, I'm expecting potentially a bounce off of here. So there could still be another leg down. So I'm not ready to just jump in on this trade just yet. Excuse me. On top of that, this is so it kind of bounces bound here. Let me take a quick look at my note. Sorry, this, I saw my notes. It's this bar kind of gave me a little bit of concern. One push down, pull back, second push down. This is a really, really strong bar. Then it shows up with this smaller bar. There's nothing to say that it couldn't pick up, create a first entry, second entry long failure because it wants to potentially come down to the bottom of this orange up channel. So that was in the back of my mind. There's kind of a little bit of uncertainty that I decided to just wait and maybe look for a higher low confirmation, ideally above the EMA. And you don't quite get that. It just kind of flushes down. So here, if I did go for the 1 point, so if you went for 2 points, which I've been trying to go for lately, it's debatable whether I would have gotten out because I'd have to take it at the highs of this guy, and then it would just make 2 points. So I don't think that I would have gotten out. I might have gotten stopped out here. If I went for 1 point, it would have worked. But early here, I was still thinking 2 points. Later, the one trade that I took, I did go for just 1 point or 5 ticks. Prices then continue moving. It's a new low here. It's the first entry short, second entry short, second entry short failure. Again, it's another almost trade. It's a bounce off the bottom of this purple up channel. And there's also price action moving from the bottom of this orange up channel now. So I think the down the movement down has played out, it's probably reversing back up, potentially testing the highs. Clearly, it's a bullish move up right now. The thing I didn't really like about this is after I got a confirmed failure of the second entry short, first entry short, second entry short, this candle is already, closed. And for me to jump on this trade, it's already pressing the highs of the day. So I felt like the trade has already been made without me. And so instead of trying to chase this, I felt like it's just better to let this go. The prices move down. Kind of gets a little noisy here. Breaks out of this choppy looking range, which isn't the cleanest. Pushes up. I was really interested to see if it would come up to here and potentially look for a short or at least a quick correction, but it came back down. Technically have a new high, first entry long, but then the count resets. Then you can technically have a new high, first entry long, second entry long. This is a bad signal bar. I was not thinking of going long here. Of course, then this candle shows up, but that can't be helped. Then I do get this higher low here. This higher low, I mean, I think it's aggressive because you do look like you have two legs down, one leg down, pull back, second leg down, and it's reversing. The higher low here, it's a possible trade. It's aggressive because it confirms a second entry long, but I wanted a stronger close on this bar because it pushed up, made a matching high, but then it pulled back. That gives me pause and caution. And I didn't like that it broke. This price action broke below the EMA. EMA didn't hold. I mean, it broke below before previously, and it always came back. And the EMA, although it's kind of flattening a little bit, it still has a bullish bias. But every time it broke below, it did dwell below it for a few candles. And so when it did that, I wasn't that excited about it. So prices then push up. You don't know that this big green candle is going to show up, unfortunately. Prices then continue moving. So this would have been a really aggressive trade in my opinion because there is enough room to the highs, but it just wasn't for me. Prices can continue moving up. There's just very choppy here. It hits the high of this orange up channel. So right now, I'm not thinking this purple or this yellow is in play. I did try to search for a bigger channel going up, but nothing really quite fit super clean because I had this at one time, but this just doesn't even look like it's helpful because I have so much space down here, so much space up here. Price action is just floating in this big sea of this channel. So this wasn't helpful at all. Decided to remove it, continue playing the orange up channel that's shallow. Prices then continue moving. It's just pressing. I'm trusting this orange up channel a lot now. I'm not thinking of going short though because it feels risky, but I'm looking for reasons to go long. It's a first entry long pullback. You could grab a second entry long here technically, but I didn't like that this is an inside bar. It's below the EMA. Just it hit the top, so I'm thinking one leg pull back and then a potential second leg back down. That's what I'm thinking at the time. So it does do that. It pushes up. It would have been enough for a quick scalp, but then it flushes down. But this just felt dicey because you don't know it's going to pull back enough for you to make your scalp because it could just pull up maybe just shy of your exit and then push down like this big red leg here. Then prices move down. It hits the bottom of this orange up channel. I'm looking for a bounce, and I don't get it. It starts flushing downwards. It starts flushing downwards, and now I'm not really sure it's going to come back and test the highs of this orange up channel because this yellow down channel fits really nicely and it's really strong. Initially, I did have it tighter, so I had the channel starting here and here, and I saw as it push down, push up, and then a real leg down. So I did see this as a new low, first entry short pullback on the same leg here creates a second entry short. I thought it was a possible trade, but you'd have to take it on the engulfing as soon as it broke below this candle. Because if you wait for it to close, I'm thinking there's not really that much room to lows here. Plus, it didn't have a solid close. It kind of pulled back a little bit. It's still bearish. Signal bar is coupled with the trigger bar, but you do have a very, very strong down, and it's respecting this resistance of this yellow down channel. So that's some reasons to take the trade. But again, I felt it was a little bit more aggressive. If this candle had a little bit more room here and it closed like that, maybe I would have taken the trade because I do like this engulfing action. But if I wasn't already on it from the engulfing of this candle, I don't think I'd jump on it here because it's like not the end of the world. It's about 13 ticks, but considering how much room I have left, I was reluctant to jump in on that. Prices then continue moving down. It has a break here, pushes back, and it continually stays outside this yellow. So that's where I decided to move it down to here to try to capture and keep the channel a little bit bigger so I don't have so many overshoots. This is actually a trade that I decided I wanted to take, but I missed it. Now I'm going to walk through it right now. It's a new low. It's a first entry short pullback. It hits the highs of this yellow down channel. And I thought, okay, I actually like this setup. This is looking pretty good. Excuse me. Excuse me. I like this new low, first entry short, second entry short. This is a decent signal bar. It's a little more neutral for me. So I wanted to see what would happen. I want to see a break of this bar, and then I would jump in. So it actually opens here, it flushes up, and it was dancing. And right when it was at the lows of this candle, it flushes down. So that's where I jumped in on the trade. I was being conservative. I put it at the low of this candle. This is only a 7-tick candle, so I should have been a little more aggressive, maybe won't move it 1 tick below, but I don't know if I would have gotten filled because by the time I entered, the lows of this candle was already below, and then it just kind of continued pushing down. And when it made 2 points from here to here, I decided, or actually down here, I decided I've missed the trade now because it's getting too close to this potential double bottom, maybe a triple test down here. So I decided to just cancel the order, but I felt like it was a missed trade. Looks like it would have worked though, but I'm glad I didn't chase it because you don't know that this is going to happen. There's an overshoot here, moves up in this green up channel. It's a new low, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here, so it's a new low, first entry short, push up. Depending on how you did the count, and if you're looking at a smaller time frame, this could be a first entry short, pullback. There might be some. Well, I counted the actual official second entry short here. I also saw this as a new high. It's a first entry long, pullback, second entry long. Second entry long failure. I like this trade. I like this setup. So I decided to get my order ready. Well, but right before this is closing. So it's a new high, first entry long, second entry long. I like the EMA is clearly holding prices down. Prices are failing to close above it, and they have failed before. And this is a strong push down. It's a break of this green up channel, one attempt up, second attempt up. I'm thinking it's pushing back down in line with the yellow down channel. And I like that it moved 1 tick up, closed with a strong close at the bottom. Now, granted, it didn't break below this guy, the low of this guy, but it did close below the body, and I like that. I would have really liked it, again, if it closed at the low here, or even better, engulfed it completely with the same setup where it closed at the low. But this is still pretty good, and I liked it. So I entered 1 tick. Actually, I didn't enter 1 tick. I entered at the lows of here. I watched it move up, entered really quickly. Instead of going for 2 points, I just went for 5 ticks, so 1 point plus commissions. And I wasn't really pushing for 2 because I wasn't sure if it was going to hit here because it has after an overshoot here, typically it might want to create a corresponding overshoot here. So I just kind of kept it conservative, 1 point or 5 ticks. I did have a runner, so I moved it from the stop here and moved it to 1 tick below my entry, which is that blue arrow right there, and I got stopped out. So if I was going for 2, I think I already checked it, but I would have been successful. So there is enough price action here to get a 2-point scalp. But again, feeling a little leery, wasn't too sure. I'm just happy with the one point. Prices were in this range, kind of chop sideways, pushes down. Now it looks like I tried to find a channel to fit and encapsulate all this, but it didn't fit quite well. But I just knew clearly as a push down, a potential second leg. So I drew one leg. There's kind of 2 small attempts up and another big leg down. This price action actually fit pretty well on the second orange yellow down channel. So I just kind of kept it like this. Overshoot here, push up on the green, push back down. Looks like there's 2 small legs after this overshoot. This overshoot looks like it might be done now. So it's like a first entry short, second entry short, but a visual first entry, second entry. Prices I suspected were coming down, but I didn't like that there are 3 dojis in a row. So that kind of throws up all kinds of caution to me because it looks like it's indecision. It ends up going down like I thought, but again, this indecision could have just played the other way. Prices then move down. There's a failed breakout of this trading range. It creates this new low. It's a first entry short pullback, creates a second entry short, and I thought it was a lower high. It is the top of the range after coming from a failed breakout, but I wasn't too excited about it because even though the prices are holding, EMA is holding prices down, I wanted a better signal bar to take this risk. But I did think that this yellow down channel needed to test this low. Prices move down, then it pushes up on this green up channel, hits this other trading range. Now there is a second entry here, but it's just very noisy, very, very tricky. Well, not tricky, but it just feels very dicey. Prices then continue moving down. It gets to this noisy, choppy region. There's kind of this big yellow up channel, but it's kind of ranging too. So I didn't really trust my read on whether it's in a range or in a clear channel. So I decided to just sit on my hands. There's a new high. You don't get actually a first entry until here. So actually this is all four tops in a row, but you can see it's one leg pullback, second leg, and it's made this large measured move now. So I saw this one leg, two leg. I'm wondering because it actually came down to here, but this line doesn't really mean anything. It just made a measured move. There could be enough push to take it all the way down here, but I'm not really sure. I'm actually going to delete the pre-market highs and lows because it doesn't really serve me, especially at this point. It just clears up the chart a little bit. So it pushes down, makes the measured move. I'm looking for a potential corrective bounce. It breaks through and it starts reversing. It's a new low, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short, but it doesn't follow through really well. There's a push up on this green, one attempt up, push up, second attempt. And here I thought there was a possible failed second entry long because it's new high, first entry long, second entry long. This measured move isn't really creating a strong enough reaction to move back up. So I'm thinking I wasn't sure. I didn't really like some big channel here because it just doesn't fit and look quite right. But I'll just put that for here as a guideline. I knew clearly prices are selling off. Although the measure move was made, it's having trouble. EMA is strongly keeping prices down. There was some violations previously, but every time it seems to be pushing prices down. So I thought, okay, break of this green, one attempt up, second attempt up. It could come back down again. It's a good signal bar. Excuse me. And excuse me. I was thinking two attempts is there could be a follow through for measure to create this measure move up, but I want to see what happens next. The follow through wasn't very convincing. It would have worked, but I felt like it was kind of an almost trade, possible trade, almost trade. I wasn't sure. It was a good signal bar. EMA is holding prices. It's a little ambiguous though, because it is very sideways right here. So I kind of marked it as a almost trade. The prices move down. It starts pushing back up. And we're getting kind of the last 30 minutes of the day. So this was previous guideline that I was using. There was no real setup here. It's a new high, first entry long, potential second entry, but second entry long here, you're below the EMA. Remember the whole day now, after this peak, it's been selling off. So clearly the bias is shifted to selling off. So I'm not really thinking of going long. And especially here now, I'm not thinking of going long or short because it's near the end of the day, where it's the last 30 minutes where things get choppy. And then things indeed do get choppy in the last 10 minutes. This is from here to here is 10 minutes of trading. And as you can see, it just kind of, people are taking profits, readjusting their positions. It just got really noisy. So it wasn't the most obvious day. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was a really hard day, but it wasn't an easy day either. There was a lot of almost setups, a lot of things that I felt could have been tricky. Missed a trade, ended up taking one trade and was, good as a quick 1 point scalp. And overall, it just kind of looked like a big rally and then sell off. It's just indecision, I think. So hopefully that was helpful.